Hi, lovely to have you here. Welcome to the Electro Revolution channel. My name is Michael and I'm a car and tech enthusiast. In this episode, we're going to go through how one can void their battery warranty on their EV vehicle. Now, of course, this is not something you want to do, but it is something you definitely want to avoid, because if there's a time that you need to make a warranty claim on your battery and the vendor rejects your warranty claim, that's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, I haven't seen too many videos out there which go ahead and explain this process, so this is why I hope you find this video informative and something you can do and use practically, so you know that if ever you have a warranty claim on your battery specifically, then you know you have the best success and the best chance of getting it approved through your vendor. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm not a battery expert. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a warranty expert. So all of this is given as general advice for all of us EV users to be able to have a general understanding of the way battery warranties work. Of course, you need to look at your terms and conditions for your particular manufacturer. You can look at the manual that they supply you for how to take care of your battery, take care of the longevity of the battery. But legally speaking, I'm not the expert here. I'm just giving you general information that you can use to educate yourself and educate the entire EV community for how to maintain your batteries, how to take care of your batteries, and give you the best chance of making a valid warranty claim if you ever need to. But don't hold me responsible if it still gets rejected. You may be wondering to yourself, well, why do I need to do this? Well, the main reason is money. It's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to replace your EV battery within your EV vehicle. If there's a manufacturer's fault, you raise a claim with the manufacturer and they reject it for some frivolous reason, maybe to void your warranty with some frivolous reason. The point is that if there's a fault in the actual battery from the manufacturer, you want to be able to have a successful claim. And that's the main reason. And the way to do that is to have awareness of why they can actually void your warranty claim if you were to make one. So this is the whole purpose of this video. Another reason you need to know this is typically with all of these battery warranties, especially with the vendors I've mentioned in this video, they give you a battery degradation of under 70%. Now you'll find other manufacturers typically will say 80%, but these particular manufacturers, they all given the borderline of 70%. What that means is if the battery has degraded so much so that it reduces the battery capacity by under 70% within the warranty period, then that's considered a manufacturer's fault and a valid warranty claim. You can't say, well, let's say for example, I've had the battery or I've had my car now for several years and I've lost 10 or 15%. That's actually not a valid warranty claim. That's actually degradation. That's normal for a battery to degrade that much. Remember, batteries do not last forever. They last for a certain number of cycles, usually when you buy it 3,000 cycles, but depending on how you charge, you can actually bring it up to 9,000 cycles, but it's all dependent on charging. So batteries do degrade. That's not a valid warranty claim, but if it degrades for under 70% typically within the warranty period, that's a valid warranty claim. Getting straight into it. Now let me try and set the foundation of this topic with a couple of examples before I move on to EV batteries. Now let's say for example you had purchased a cheap mobile phone, and that mobile phone of course came with a 12-month warranty. Now let's say for example within that 12-month warranty the phone had become faulty. The first thing you would do typically is contact the vendor, usually online or by phone. Discuss with them what had happened, and this is usually on first level support. They try and troubleshoot with you exactly what the problem is, can you turn it on? They do the first level of troubleshooting. If they've determined that yes, it is a hardware fault, for example, then they escalate that to their warranty department to make an actual claim. And then of course there's a claim process that you go through to get the phone replaced. Now that's pretty straightforward for something that doesn't cost too much money. But I'll give you an example of something that does cost a lot of money. Now let's say we went through a ducted air conditioning system in a house. Now the ducted air conditioning system, or the unit, is now out of manufacturer warranty, yet it's still claimable with home and contents insurance. So now you have to deal with an insurance company, and dealing with insurance companies, I won't need to talk too much about that, but you now need to make a claim through the insurance company. So the insurance company of course is going to scrutinize the failure much more than a vendor would scrutinize a cheap mobile phone. And in that case, of course, what you're going to get is, okay, how did the unit break? What was happening while the unit? What date and time did this happen? Did you get a repair person, an authorized repair person, to fix the unit? Did you get a certificate if, for example, the unit had failed and it was taken away or things like that? Did you get a certificate? Can you give us the certificate to say that the unit had failed from an authorized repairer, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Now I've personally gone through this process before. Now as you can imagine, with insurance companies, because things cost a lot more to replace, they will scrutinize it a lot more and they will find every way possible to get out of it. Now that's not to say that automobile manufacturers do the same thing, but I'm just trying to set the context here, because what I'll be talking about soon relates to these particular items, relates to these particular facts. Therefore, it does matter that when you raise an EV battery claim, that you cover all your bases and make sure that you've done nothing that would void your warranty and have the manufacturer reject your warranty claim. So we're going to be looking at vehicle manufacturers with brands like MG, Geely, Polestar, BYD and Volvo. Now typically with these types of manufacturers, they give you battery warranties of anywhere from 8 to 10 years, which is quite a long time. So what would actually be the first point that would void your warranty? Let's go through it. Number 1, vehicle modifications or physical damage. Now in terms of vehicle modifications, these are modifications that actually are not authorized by the manufacturer. And what that means, for example, is maybe changing the way the body is, maybe putting a fin onto the back of the vehicle, maybe changing the suspension within the vehicle, or changing the actual tires that are rated on the vehicle. Those types of modifications can alter the default use of the vehicle. What does it mean when we say the default use of the vehicle? Well, that typically means what the vehicle is meant to do, because when manufacturers take these vehicles for drives and test drives, you'll notice what they do is they take the vehicle into other countries, they'll put stickers and stuff around them, to hide what they're doing. But typically what they're doing is testing the vehicle with the road conditions that are part of that country or that state or so forth. Now in Australia we see a lot of this, and there's sneak peeks of these particular vehicles. But what it means is that, for example, if you were to buy a passenger vehicle that's a sedan, well, you're not going to be driving that in the outback through hills and mud and things like that, which can damage the vehicle. That is not the default use of the vehicle. A passenger vehicle is typically made for suburban and city driving on main roads that are fully tarred, without the gravel and without all that stuff. So that's what we mean by default use of the vehicle. The other point here is physical damage. Now let's say, for example, as the point I just raised, if you were to take a sedan to the outback and go above, go on top of hills and all of this stuff, you will damage the underside of the battery and the chassis of the vehicle. Now that's obvious that when you put in a warranty claim, because say the the battery has cracked or broken or things like that, they're obviously going to void that warranty because they're going to say that's not the typical use of this particular vehicle. If you wanted that type of vehicle, maybe buy a ute or a truck or a four-wheel drive or something like that to do those types of road trips or access those types of conditions. And what also we mean by physical damage is, let's say for example, the vehicle has been involved in a car accident. Now that could possibly misalign the battery in even the slightest way, causing a crack within the battery. Now, a lot of these batteries are structural batteries. What that means is they're based on the floor and they offer impact protection for the car, which typically means that these EV cars are always safer than ICE vehicles. But nevertheless, batteries can get damaged in very, very hard hits. And if that's the case, then when you're repairing the car, for example, you need to make sure that part of that repair checks the battery. Make sure that the battery is still in good condition, because if you're making an insurance claim on the vehicle to be repaired, then part of that insurance claim should be the replacement of the battery if the battery is at fault, if the battery is broken because of the damage caused by the accident. Because what it will eventually happen is you'll get the car back, the battery will be damaged, you'll then go to the manufacturer and they'll say, okay, this car's been damaged, the damage hasn't been our fault, we can't replace this battery. So you need to be careful of that. Physical damage to the car, you need to also get the insurer or the repairer to make sure that the battery works 100% before they give you back the vehicle. Well, that was the end of episode 1. I hope you found it informative. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, share this content with someone who'd be interested, or just leave a comment. It really all helps. So until episode 2, I hope to see you there. Bye for now.